But if you're not going to make up a new definition that justifies your own involvement and makes you better than him, then you're going to find yourself feeling at a loss. Because you don't know what the answer is. And so you're going to recognize you need God as much as the one calling for help recognizes that he or she needs something, even though it's probably not God as far as they're concerned, but just something that will reconfirm for them the rightness of what they're doing and that they shouldn't be suffering for doing it the way they're doing it. So this is very important. Your interpretations of your brother's need is your interpretation of yours. By giving help, you are asking for it. And I would say, if you haven't asked for it, you won't have anything to give. So the two are inseparable. By giving help, you are asking for it. And if you perceive but one need in yourself, you will be healed. For you will recognize God's answer as you want it to be, meaning truly want it to be, as God's answer. And if you want it in truth, it will be truly yours. See, so the question is, do you want to be able to make up a definition of a brother who's calling for help by behaving badly? Do you want to be able to make up a definition about it that provides you with a handy way to resolve it through judgment and no involvement, and continue to be ignorant of your own place of excellence, the place of excellence in you, and remain unconscious of your access to it, and continue on with your brother where both of you are missing each other, where both of you are not connecting with each other, even though it appears that there's involvement. Do you want that? Or do you want what really heals? Every appeal you answer in the name of Christ brings the remembrance of your Father closer to your awareness. Every appeal you answer in the name of Christ, in the name of your true nature, in the name of the place of excellence in you, brings the remembrance of your Father closer to your awareness. Why? Because you're breaking the isolation, the bill of divorcement. And when you break it, the experience of family, connection with your Father, your source, immediately, it would seem, resurges in you and fills you up. Because you're no longer blocking it. For the sake of your need, then, hear every call for help as what it is. Why? So God can answer you. Complicated? No. Simple to understand? Yes. Happifying? No. Relieving? No. Why? It's a question you all need to ask yourselves. Well, I'm going to tell you. It's because you don't think you can rise to the occasion. You don't think you can really be this way. You don't think you have what it takes. It will be too much work. Why? Because it's not natural to you. You don't think. And so, someone else's definition of you has settled in you, and you've taken it to heart, and you believe it. And so, you never even begin to wriggle inside of the chrysalis you're in, or stretch inside of the egg and peck away at it. When that's what's absolutely essential. Why? Because although you can manage to put up with the distresses of your daily life, the human condition, they're not bad enough to motivate you to peck at the shell or strain at the confinement of the chrysalis so that the chrysalis might snap, so that your definitions might break. And you can see that they had not the strength to confine the Christ that you are, the divine one that you are. By applying the Holy Spirit's interpretation of the reactions of others more and more consistently, you will gain an increasing awareness that His criteria are equally applicable to you. For to recognize fear is not enough to escape from it, although the recognition is necessary to demonstrate the need for escape. The Holy Spirit must still translate it into truth. If you were left with the fear, having recognized it, you would have taken a step away from reality, not towards it. Yet we have repeatedly emphasized the need to recognize fear and face it without disguise as a crucial step in the undoing of the ego. In the undoing of the ego. In the undoing of the habit pattern that you have adopted as your identity and the reason for your behavior and the justifications for your behavior, including your habit of giving definitions and evaluations to everyone else about them and using them as your criteria for behaving the way you do toward them. Consider how well the Holy Spirit's interpretation of the motives of others will serve you then. Well, they will serve you very well. This is not a spot in terms of the unfoldment of the things needing to be understood for me to tell you sweet things and to give you words of encouragement that would allow you to relax. Because the moment you feel relaxed, you'll stop paying attention with earnestness at what you need to pay attention to, which is, first of all, your inclination to approach your day as though it's a hostile world with things you need to be guarded against, so that you are in a dull mode of self-defense, which is really attack. And second, where you don't just give preference to, but you make commitment to your defining everything without ever connecting with what it really is. And thirdly, and perhaps most importantly, your habit of defining your brother's, I'm just going to say behavior, because none of you consistently express love so that it's the predominant thing that everyone recognizes about you as they observe you as you go through your day. Your behavior is a call for love. That means anyone you look at, their behavior for the most part is a call for love, a request for help. Because so much of their day is approached from a feeling of ignorance that must somehow become equal to the demands of the day, so as not to cause that one to feel depressed at the end of the day because everything went so badly. And so their behavior is not inspired with love. Your behavior, for the most part, isn't inspired with love. But that's your birthright, for it to be inspired with love. So, you've got to be alert to your very definite inclination to interpret what a brother is and what he's being as you are in relation to him, and your reluctance to step past the definition you create so as to perhaps really connect with that one and have the opportunity to find out whether their behavior truly is a call for love, a call for help, or whether it was an expression of love, perhaps, that pushed you beyond the limits you wanted to be pushed. And therefore you said, that one is behaving badly. And then you proceeded to treat that individual on the basis of the definition you gave. We're talking about being more conscious. You could say we're talking about using a little more discipline of your mind. Work, discipline. You know what? What would you call it if you sat down one day and you neglected to worry. You just neglected to worry. Well, you would find you were in your peace the whole day. Were you in your peace because you used self-discipline? Yes, but not in terms of work. You expressed discipline by consistently neglecting to do what doesn't work. It's simple. You aren't going to abandon what doesn't work without a conscious choice to do it. There's going to have to be focus. The rewards are great. The rewards are your unchangeable birthright, divine birthright, beginning to register with you. Because you're neglecting to obscure it with your personal effort to be something on your own. So, this week I invite you to conscientiously, which means consistently and persistently, observe how quickly, how spontaneously you bring definitions into play about your fellow man. And then watch how long it takes you to abandon them. Notice whether or not you spend an hour building on that definition. As I said, fabricating a scenario of events in your mind. Notice how much valuable conscious experience, I'm not going to say how much time, how much valuable conscious experience you've wasted in imagination land, so that you might see just how effectively you're keeping yourself unconscious of reality. Because once you see that, it will be much easier for you to make a choice for using your mind well. And it will be that much easier to recognize that you don't want to choose for what doesn't work. So that you might more easily choose for God's plan for salvation, which is choosing for what works. Choosing for what works, because that's the way it's been set up. It's the setup that's already in place. Unchangeably. So, I love you. And I look forward to being with you next week.